Good morning. It's Dr. Bill Williams on the Influencers Podcast. I want to welcome you all to our first show of 2024. Yes, we're getting started, and I'm really honored to have Ben Gabler, founder and CEO of Rocket.net. He's in West Palm, Florida, so he's living the high life, doing what he wants to do all the time in the best weather in the whole United States. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. It's kind of funny to hear you say the first one of 2024. It's kind of 2023 went pretty quick for us, so it's going to be an exciting year all around. So happy to be here, and thanks again for having me.
Oh, you're sure welcome. We started the Influencer Podcast in late 22, had 130 episodes since then, and every year we're getting better. The lineup of superstars that we're interviewing is pretty impressive. So glad to add you as the CEO of Rocket.net. I know that is the topic of the day. We want to find out what a startup's like. How do you bring something to the front? Let's get a little background on you and how you got it started, and tell us all about Rocket.net.
Sure. So my name's Ben Gabler. I've been in the hosting industry since about roughly 2001, 2002. Kind of had my first server where I started dabbling in just hosting in general. I think I was using cPanel version 4 back then. But it all started in IRC. I was delivering pizza, and somebody mentioned to me they make like $1,200 a month selling hosting. And I was like, what is that? I need to know. And kind of the rest is history from there. I'm back then, HostGator was kind of on the up and coming, and they were about an hour south of me. So I ended up teaming up with them and kind of merging my little company at the time into HostGator. And I just, that was about 2006. And when they decided to move to Houston, I stayed back in Florida, started another company called Host9, grew that to a little under $2 million a year in revenue. I think I was early 20s. Sold the company to HostGator and went back to HostGator right before they sold the company. So kind of got to see different sizes of scale along the way. Starting a company from scratch, living in your parents' house still, to going back to a company that's doing 100 million a year in revenue and thousands of employees. So took some time off after that, and ultimately landed a senior product manager role at GoDaddy, where I relaunched the hosting product line at GoDaddy. And that was probably one of the biggest environments I've ever been in, and seeing that level of scale with thousands of signups a day, it was pretty incredible. So, I've done a couple SaaS projects along the way to really learn a lot about software development. And, prior to launching Rocket.net, I was a chief product officer at a very large CDN company. And that's really where I just saw this massive opportunity to bring the solution to market that wasn't out there today. And, here we are about 3 years later, just under 5 million in annual revenue, fully bootstrapped, own 100% of the company. And, things have been going great. So, there's some big secrets there that might sound obvious to some, but really what we focus on at Rocket.net is customer success. So in the very beginning, it helped us stand out to have a different, unique solution in the market. But really, if you ask people what we're known for, it's going to be this amazing customer support. So we heavily invest in our customers and pretty much just do whatever it takes.
This sounds a lot like my history, what I've done. Crazy enough, we went from 0 to 5 million in our dental practice in the 2000s.
Wow.
And customer service was exactly how we did it. That was the secret to being ultra successful compared to the average. So, and today, like it or not, they call me in to come work, although I retired, because, they needed some help and I was free. So
guys like us don't ever really retire, though. That's the reality. We get bored.
It's just good to be able to be available. That's the thing, when they need you. So I was really glad to come and sub in for somebody who got sick today. We learn a lot from our failures. So I always like to start off by kind of relating to what happened in one of your businesses, even Rocket.net, that was like something you learned a lot from because it didn't work.
Sure. So, I think one of the messages early on at Rocket.net, we had some really big wins. I'm not a political guy, but one of the largest websites we started hosting a couple of months into the business was Hannity.com, and it just has a massive amount of traffic, as you can imagine, during an election. Just gets all kinds of attention. So for me, that was the first big aha win moment where we got this massive player on board, and the feedback was always things are great, Ben, but you can't keep doing it all yourself. How do you sustain this? And the real thing in the past that I failed at was not planning properly for scale and growth.
Yeah.
And to do that this time, I knew it was a matter of time with some of the traction we were getting that we would need to start hiring. And I was very strategic and spent my time finding the right people that were very seasoned, shared a lot of the same traits that I have, and really just always championing for the customer. So, the one thing that has always been, has bit most hosting companies is when, we'll hear it from customers all the time, please don't get too big and forget about us, and that's really it. I don't have a goal to have 1,000 employees at Rocket.net, right? Like, we actually have a goal to have the least amount of employees by leveraging automation and modern technology. We don't want our team stressed out. As we're talking right now, there's a couple of chats in queue or in action, and like 0 tickets, right? So our staff's healthy. They're not overworked. We're not trying to not staff. We do staff appropriately when we need to, but what's really been the thing is just hiring the right people, and I could not do it without the team that we've put together here today.
So preparing for scale is the big one. Tell me about people you worked with, and they seem to have trouble periodically. What did they do that seemed to cause their failure?
Sure. I think a lot of the failures I've seen in some of the businesses I've been involved in have really just been staffing issues more than anything, right? I think there's been, like the last place I worked at, somebody there had the craziest ego you've ever seen in your life. Smartest person in the room, knows everything, but really doesn't know much. And it ends up creating a toxic environment, and people are not willing to perform, So I think the number one mistake I've seen is always related to staffing, and it's difficult, right? Nobody likes firing people. Nobody likes ruffling feathers. And, that's why we're super critical about who we hire at Rocket.net. In 3 years, we've had a turnover of 2, and we've probably interviewed 50 people in the last couple of months. So we're very selective. There's a big culture aspect to being a fit at Rocket.net. And, but yeah, I would attribute it to, like one of my old leaders used to always say, there's 3 things, right? You've got a product, you've got money, and you've got people. And it's very rare that a company will have all 3 of those. And he would always say, we have the money, we have the product, we have the people, what's going on, right? So, I think it's just everything that I've seen has come down to, some sort of staffing change that should have been implemented, or maybe the wrong person in the wrong role. And, really just kind of over engineering is a big one, right? Like just trying to build the perfect product. I had an investor that it had to be perfect, and there's just no such thing as perfect when it comes to SaaS. So, even your iPhone's littered full of bugs. So
those are very good points. I really enjoy in my business, the dental business, working next to somebody I've been relying on 20 years, 25 years. And so I'm lucky out of 25 staff, half of them been with me at least 20 years. It's really rewarding to have great staff. So I agree with you. Talk about your motivation to keep pushing forward and making Rocketnet better and better. What motivates you?
Sure. So, continuing to solve real problems that exist today. Like we're working on something very, very big at Rocket.net to roll out by the end of Q1, and it's just going to change the game for creators forever. And when you think about it, it's like whenever I explain it to some of our user studies, it's like, wow, how does that not exist today? This is crazy. So, I think what keeps me excited is the continuous innovation and even just having the amazing customers we have. And it's not just BS. Like our customers are great people. And, it's very rare that we get, a sour patch customer and something that can be somebody's a little more difficult to deal with. But our customers, because we're transparent, we answer the chats within a minute and we're always there for them. We just bring the best out of them, I feel like, and they bring the best out of us. So, that's been really a motivator for me.
Now, if you talk about things that you're doing that are innovative, would you go as far as to say those are your success secrets, things that you do that others don't do? The thing you're bringing out, is that something you already unveiled to the public yet?
It is not. I think, one of the secrets is, sure, there's definitely some level of magnitude that goes to innovation and creation and doing things that just don't exist in the market. I think one of the other things is because of the way that our business has blossomed over the last couple of years, we're able to move incredibly fast. So these ideas that would probably take, a massive Fortune 500 company year plus to build, we're doing in months or weeks. So, very, modern practices. All of our code is fully tested with end-to-end test suites and 100%, close to 100% test coverage as possible. Like our portal is all written in React, which is a modern JavaScript framework. It was written by the guy that built Visa Checkout. Our CTO, him and his brother actually created the largest hosting control panel in the world called cPanel. So our CTO is a SaaS CTO with a strong business background, but he's not. Hosting companies traditionally will have an infrastructure CTO. So that's kind of the big difference here is we just continue to focus on software as a service and building a true platform.
Nice. Very nice. What's your company motto at Rocket.net?
The customer's always first, right? Like everything we do, no matter what, has to bubble up to the customer success.
Now, I'm familiar with places like Bluehost and of course GoDaddy and others. What would be the reason somebody would choose Rocket.net?
So I think really what we see is, we're winning these deals, like a lot of enterprise business based off of, the support, without a doubt, the reputation and the brand that we've built. We're just seeing a massive amount of success there. But I think really people are coming to us because we just make it easy. We take all the guesswork out of it. Here's your WordPress site, go to town. We handle speed and security, delivery. You just focus on building your business.
Nice. Yeah. You have automatic backups of all your site?
So something we haven't announced yet is we actually just implemented an all new disaster recovery system that customers won't ever see, but we're actually backing up every 5 hours. And eventually that will get down to between 1 and 3. So that way if God forbid a data center caught on fire, or we just have an issue with data integrity and maybe a server loses power and it's corrupted. All these things happen in our industry. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. I don't care what anybody says. Google Cloud goes down for 12 hours. Amazon goes down for 12 hours. And, there is no such thing as 100% uptime. So I've started this year off changing my stance of, if it happens to when it happens. It's inevitable that we're going to have a failure. And, to us being able to back things up and snapshot it every 5 hours, we can restore a 1.6 terabyte instance in 2.5 hours, which is like unheard of. Now, it sucks. Being down is not good, but the reality is no matter where you host, it's going to happen. And I think where we shine is we go the extra distance. We're investing thousands of dollars a month in disaster recovery. And, just in case that rainy day comes.
Yeah. Well, I've got a small website, of course, but it was totally lost, and I had to rebuild it from scratch because nobody had a backup at an unnamed hosting site. So yeah, I think what you're doing will be perfect. People are going to really flock to what you're doing if you do that every hour or two. Tell me about your ideal client. Who would that be?
Really, we have customers of all shapes and sizes. We have customers with one website. We have customers with, you know, 8,000 websites. So it really just depends. We really enjoy, any one of my competitors will say agencies. And yes, agencies are great. We love working with them and we're doing a lot for them. But, really, we also see, some of the largest aftermarket part manufacturers for Tesla and all kinds of different things. So, we support a lot of e-commerce in our enterprise tier and, furniture stores, a lot of different things. But really, we love working with just customers of all shapes and sizes. We're not trying to boil the ocean, but we just seem to be attracting some very amazing people and some great personas that work really well.
So your sweet spot, how do you attract these folks?
So a lot of it has just been really heavily investing in our brand. Like our strategy this year, we don't do any paid ads on Google. Basically, our strategy this year is be as involved as possible in the WordPress community. So we're sponsoring as many WordCamps as we can. We always sponsor WordCamp US. We're sponsoring a conference called Tastemaker, and it's in Chicago. And some of our largest customers like natasha'skitchen.com and wellplated.com are at these events. And, we've served some of the largest food blogs in the world. We do almost a petabyte of traffic a month. And, we absolutely love working with those websites. So the big theme for us this year growth wise is continuing to take care of the customers we have. The reality is if our business didn't grow at all this year, our team would do great and be extremely happy and well taken care of. Of course, that's not what we wake up and want, but the reality is we do recognize the existing business we have, and we're not here to grow as quickly as possible and be the largest company in the world and make billions of dollars, right? We just want to continue to focus on, customer satisfaction. We did over 45,000 conversations in our live chat system in 2023, and we had a 97% satisfaction rate, right? So out of 45,000 conversations, super proud of that.
Sounds to me like that in itself is a way to, what we say, crush the competition if you can have 97% success in your support.
Definitely.
Well-defined products and services. Can you identify what those are? You got muted.
Oh, sorry. So you're talking about as far as Rocket goes, or?
Yeah, Rocketnet.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time just kind of packaging things up with this sort of CDN first approach, and basically being able to look at the landscape and take all of these things that we do have and put them in a packaged way that our customers will understand them without losing them in the tech specs and whatever it might be. So it's kind of just taking a look at everything going on in the market, taking a look at everything we do and have on our truck, and packaging that in a way that it can be consumed. So there's not a lot of technical jargon on our website. Everything I've always done in my career, I try to make it as easy as possible for the end user, because the more advanced user will know how to find it, right? What they're looking for. So, we really just try to focus on a well digestible product offering, so that just, everybody can kind of understand like where the value in our products lie. And then of course we focus on customer support. We had a competitor do some total smash piece against us, which is kind of like funny on one hand, 'cause we're like, hey, we made it, we're on their website, right? But one of their digs was, their CEO is in chat. You don't have to do that with us. We have people here 24/7. And then you go to their website and it says they'll get back to you within a day, right? This company does $50 million a year in revenue. And we're literally slamming our company because I do support. And I always will. And it's not because I need to, it's because I want to. I need to stay in touch with our customer. I'm a very product heavy CEO. And the only way that I can continue to build and solve problems is if I know what they are firsthand.
Absolutely. Now, you talked about platforms that you prefer to use, and you promote and host a lot of WordPress. What else?
So we're strictly a WordPress shop. we heavily focus on WordPress. Could we do other things? Absolutely. But we don't plan on it. If WordPress powers half of the websites on the internet effectively. So, we try to, stay focused on that because there is so much opportunity for improvement and continuous innovation in this space that it's enough work for forever, right? So if we went and tried to support something else, we would just get derailed and it would become very difficult.
And you have your own proprietary interface, your dashboard?
That's correct. We built everything in-house for the dashboard and APIs. We do like when I built Rocket, completely bootstrapped. I'd had an exit in the past, so I had some capital, but I didn't want to go and reinvent the wheel with containers and Kubernetes. Like all that stuff's great, but it's overkill for what WordPress is. So I took a lot of technologies like cPanel and Cloud Linux and created this experience and solution that wasn't in the marketplace. But where our IP lies is some of like a lot of how we deliver these websites, and then of course our APIs and customer interface.
So do you help people when they're trying to build their websites? Is that part of your support?
No, so we don't actually do like any sort of website development, but we just help, give them the things they need for speed. So Google's happy. And then of course, security, we have 2 web application firewalls in place. So that way we can, help keep the hackers and bots away.
Gotcha. 5-star experience. What are some of the things you do that really stand out beyond the rest of the industry?
So I would say, the SaaS approach that we take is very unique. A lot of our competitors will just try to package a solution given to them and kind of sell it that way. Like a lot of the traditional cPanel shared hosting, like you weren't buying X product, you were buying cPanel. So, we've created a very unique customer experience that a lot of very large companies out there even resell to their customers. So, I think the biggest thing would be, how we think about the world versus some of the competitors, and again, bubbling every action back up to the customer success.
And you white label things for agencies and they can put it out to their network?
Correct. Yep, that's correct. Resellers and agencies, we have companies of all shapes and sizes with thousands of websites, just white labeling our platform.
Perfect. So tell me about ambassadors. Do you convert clients to ambassadors with a technique at any particular type of thing you do for them?
So funny enough, it's kind of happened on its own. We don't ever ask customers to leave a review. We don't ever ask customers to promote us like that. It's just been a lot of, community driven conversations you'll see on Facebook where Rocket is just hands down recommended, by a lot of our customers. And it's amazing to see that. And I think that really goes back to the investment in our brand and staying involved with the community. Like we do just under 5 million in revenue, but we're part of 5 for the Future at WordPress, where we have, 5% of our company contributing back to open source. That $50 million competitor I mentioned earlier just do nothing, right? So, we really support the platform and, yeah.
Do you want to shift over and start talking about maybe you personally, Ben, what are you grateful for today? This is the first week of 2024.
Hands down, our team. I'm super grateful for our team, and I'm super grateful for every single customer we have. There's not a penny spent with Rocket that goes unnoticed. We're not in some get rich quick scheme. We're not trying to, do crazy stuff, right? Like we just want to continue to service our customers as best as we possibly can. So I'm super grateful for just what this platform has turned into with the help of this incredible team that we've built at Rocket.net. So, super grateful for that. And I'm also really grateful for WordPress, right? Like with Matt and the whole team and the whole world that's behind it. I'm very grateful for for that. And that's why we try to help contribute back as much as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. I built many, many websites with WordPress, wish list member and just all kinds of things. What advice would you give yourself if you're looking back at your young self, 20 years old, with saying, here's what you should do?
Keep trying and keep going and keep failing. I've had an interesting journey. It wasn't always wins every step along the way. But that's part of it. And I think everything I went through one way or another led to Rocket.net, and I wouldn't change a thing. It's been an incredible journey. I know people that have sold their companies and made a lot of money, and they're kind of like stuck in a way. Like, what do? They're young, like the retirement dream sounds great, but then they say it's lonely at the top, right? So it is. And that's why I'm just, super fortunate to be where I'm at right now. And I wake up every day excited to conquer the day with the team. So yeah, I would get, same advice. Don't go to college. I tell myself again, jump right into the trade and just keep going. So
Excellent. You have a living mentor you follow at this point that's impacting your life?
Not necessarily. I've definitely had a lot of very good leaders over the years that have taught me a lot. Even simple fundamentals like patience and common sense is not so common, which really is sort of a sanity check you do to yourself to remind yourself that not everybody knows everything as commonly as you do, right? We're all very skilled in certain ways. I have a mechanic friend that works on my boat, and the things that guy does are insane. And I could never do that, right? But then he looks at what I'm doing on the computer and he's like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know what's going on, right? So we all have our skills, but there's definitely a lot of really good audiobooks I've listened to over the years, and you kind of take little bits, like there's a lot of stuff Grant Cardone says in his books that resonates with me, and then there's a lot of stuff that doesn't. So yeah, I mean, I think the reality is not just having one living mentor, but having an open mind to continue to learn and learn from others.
You really came up through the ranks. You're really focused on support because you were in that industry. You're focused on hosting because you were in that industry, and you're being impactful by being the best version of you. Your company's the best version of what you know. So I think you're impacting the world pretty strongly and setting a good example.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, me and the team together, it's definitely a great team effort, and it's been amazing to have a team to rely on, day in and day out. So, our customers, seem to love it. So it's been good.
If you look back when it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered for, Ben?
Somebody that wasn't afraid to push the envelope and, drive innovation and think outside of the box but at the end of the day, provide value to the end user, right? Like I want people in the WordPress community and the hosting space to praise Rocket for the difference it made, right? Like we've inspired so many companies to leverage the edge of the network with caching and things like that. And it's just created a better experience and helped the evolution of just website delivery altogether. So, I would love to just kind of be remembered for the fun guy and the fun company that was always at the WordCamps and supporting the ecosystem, growing and providing value in return for the growth.
Tell us how we can connect to you, how we can support you and get people to learn more about Rocket.net.
Sure. You can, Rocket.net anytime, feel free to ask for me, even in live chat. You'll get to me. Don't worry. Ben at Rocket.net, always open. And then, of course, LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm on those as well.
Yeah, we go by connecting to our podcast guests mostly through LinkedIn. So that's a powerful platform, of course. What would you say about being on the Influencers podcast today?
It's been incredible. I really appreciate it. I absolutely love doing these. It's always fun to kind of talk about our journey and hopefully inspire and help others and make new connections to hopefully learn from them as well.
Great. Well, we're in 190 countries. We have thousands of people who tune in to watch the Influencers podcast because we've always got some interesting characters showing up. So Rocket.net just made another footprint in the world. on the sand. Hopefully it doesn't get washed away, but gets remembered. And I hope that
Absolutely.
At this point, I want to give you the final word before we say goodbye to our audience. Go ahead, Ben.
Sure. No, just thank you for having me. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate the time. I know we're all super busy, especially going into this new year, but definitely wishing everybody the best, health and success throughout the year. Our customers, our team, your viewers, yourself. Just hope everybody has an amazing year, and looking forward to it myself.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. And what I want to do is make sure that we tell people how to reach me and be on the Influencer Podcast as we close off our show today. The QR code here is where you can reach me at my digital business card, which is ovu.me/onpassive. And what I do is I focus two things, and my WordPress site, as you can guess, is at drbillwilliams.tv, where you can see all the versions of the Influencer Podcast, the books I've written, the things that I'm doing these days and have done in the past. One of the things that I'm doing is interesting, that might be sort of down the line of what you're doing too, Ben, is I'm into the AI technology SaaS products. And we've created quite a few online available products. One of them is OTrim, which makes the custom URL shorten URLs, and it makes QR code, and you can track where the code comes from with the trim. So a lot of utility there. We give that one away for free. So anybody who wants to have a QR code builder, short URL builder, we give that away. We've also got OTracker, which is like an analytics program for websites. Could be very useful for somebody that's a website owner or a marketing firm. Very robust OTracker. We've got the flagship product is probably the one that is called OConnect. That's our video conferencing software. And so we're able to do unlimited numbers of people on our thing. We could have 10,000 up to 20,000 for like $125 a month. So we're very competitive in the market with the best cost and the best price, the best service. Final thing I wanted to mention, I showed it earlier, was Oh Bless. We have a give back program for innovation startups. Somebody's got a new business, a nonprofit. They want to fund it, so we can give this Oh Bless to them at no cost, and they can market their company, their nonprofit. And it's pretty much a marketing platform for all kinds of new businesses, startup businesses, as well as the nonprofits, NGOs, and churches and synagogues around the world. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share with our audience today about what we're doing. And if you're interested, just write down this OTrim address, and it'll take you to everything's under one roof, one single sign-on, Ben, and people can check out our SaaS products along the way. It's been great having you on board. I want to thank the audience for being on the first podcast for our Influencers podcast this week and of the whole year. Looking forward to hearing from you again, Ben, with Rocket.net. And thank you for the service. And everybody who needs a website hosted, go to Rocket.net.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You guys take care out there. We'll see you with another podcast on Friday.